Hello, hello, hello. He is late. Super late? I'm not super late. Grace just came home from work, so I thought I'd say hi to her. Hello, hello, hello. We're fine. Alright. I tried to get the word out on Discord early so that people would gather with a all replay stream and only 5 games to be played. If someone's 20 minutes late, they'll be like a third of the way through the stream late. So we will hit the live button like we have, and we'll stall for a little bit as we do some quick announcements. Quick announcements. It's stuck? What's stuck? Anyway. Quick announcements. 1. There's a lot of streams coming up, you guys. A lot of streams. I don't know if any of you noticed, but we have 5 live streams scheduled this week. And I have 1 not scheduled, but potential. On Friday, might just after work have some time to play some games because my calendar is free right now. So I might just get to do a stream of playing some games. But yeah, if you hop onto our channel, see a whole bunch of lovely scheduled live streams there. 3 of them, including this one from the Nations event. And then we have our new player tournament like we do every week. And then we have a normal, sweaty, anyone can join weekend land battle tournament that'll hopefully get some good turnout. And if you are a new player or want to play in that Saturday tournament, you're like, where the hell are the links for those? If you click on the stream, the link for the tournament in question is in the description. So, yeah. So we have that. And then another thing we're doing that has a horrendously small number of views. Over half the people that view this channel are not subscribers, and that's a problem for the YouTube algorithm, so we came up with a way to get some monies for charity and for animal research, but also try and get some of the lurkers to turn into subscribers. So, 2-for-1 win. Anyway, any person that subscribes during the month of December, on January 1st, I will look at the month in review, and however many subscribers we get, I'll donate that many dollars to charity for the Morris Foundation. So that'll be fun. I'm French, by the way. Can I play? It already happened, but in future ones, sure. This one was not the Nations event. Why I call it event and not like World Championship or whatever. It was, I just got together people I knew, and I went like, hey, the green one, you're Spanish, you're a good player, you're a good guy. Can you find 4 other Spanish players to play in this thing? Alfredino, you're French, do the same, And I just went to 8 different regions of the world, and I'm like, nah, this will make good content, people will enjoy it. Everybody likes a good rivalry and stuff like that, but this wasn't organizing a more official, like, every country is represented and every team, and there's tryouts and all this shit. It's like, that would take forever. This was just planned over a month and a half for some good content, so it is a French team, not the French team. But that is enough stalling. People are either here by now or fuck them. They're late, and they're not going to join. Can I unsub and resub? Of course. Of course. Here is our little scorecard for this particular event. Team Spain on the left. Tudela, green 1. JMG, Azrael, and Ryan. Urian or Ryan? I'm going to go with Orion, but I might be misspeaking that one. And on the French side, a lot of legends. Good old-fashioned legends with Alfredino, Razel, Hanadens, and Zyphos. And then Pantelinade, while not as acclaimed of a name in successes throughout the scene, when he was more active, he was a really good guy. He was part of my admin team for a bit, and he was a much better player than me. He just didn't get any of the big, like, tournament wins that you see out of the other 4 players on the French team. So, but some historic players. And, I should bring up that thingy. Challenge. Should bring up the bracket. Whoever wins this will be advancing to fight Italy, who is in the semifinals waiting for their opponent. Our stream was on Saturday, but they did defeat the EU Mercenaries. Mostly a German team, but I wasn't sure about some of their origins, and I did want them in the event. And that was an upset. I will say, and I have said to anybody who has asked me, the winner of Spain versus France, I think, is the tournament favorite. I think these teams are my 1 and 2 skill level-wise. And honestly, I would have said maybe the EU Mercenaries were as good as one of these two teams. So I would personally go France, then Spain or EU Mercs were really good. Italy already pulled off an upset. That's crazy. But I think whoever wins the day, Italy's going to have a tough time. They're going to have to really dig deep and win yet again over them because both these teams are so fucking scary. They're so scary. I don't know. So here's that bracket for you if you care. Spain and France. Then we'll stream East NA versus UK tomorrow. Tonight I'll be streaming West NA versus South America because both those regions will be awake for that stream. Whereas I don't want to stream the UK versus East NA during the nighttime and then the UK doesn't get to watch their own fucking team. That seems kind of rude. So Spain, France right now. West NA, South America tonight. Sound good? Enough chit-chat. Games. Games. So who started this thing? Now, you might be thinking that I need a screen blocker and that these are spoilers. No, because when you're representing a nation, I didn't want someone to be fifth pick and depending on how the games before them went, they never got to play, so they didn't get to rep their nation. That would feel pretty bad. I instructed all teams to play all 5 games, no matter what. Right? I have not seen any of these games ahead of time, though I do know which team wins because I scheduled the next round. So Team Italy is fighting blank, and on the top bracket, the top semifinal, those two teams are also getting their games together while we're streaming this. So I know who wins, but I've never seen these games before. If there's any rule breaks or any issues like that, they would have had to deal with it ahead of time. Where the hell did I save those things? Spain and France. Okay. So the first game is Tudela versus Alfredino. It looks like it's Empire and Vampire counts with a very strange... Actually, both these builds are fucking strange. Okay. I don't mean bad, but I do mean strange. When there's so many ads on hummus, I don't know, man. I don't control these things. There is a button I can press to make ads appear, but I've literally never hit that button. Never ever. Stream stopped. Am I crazy? I have the stream on my left-hand screen, like I'm just on the YouTube page with you guys, and it does not seem stopped for me. Is anybody else having stream issues? So the semifinal are? The semifinals are determined in real life, but I have not updated the challenge page, so y'all don't know that. Anybody else having trouble with the stream, or is Rocket just crazy? Alright, I'm going to start on the armies while you guys tell me. Stream works fine for you? Okay, cool. For the Empire, strange not to see Balthazar Gelt, Karl Franz, or Boris Todbringer, or even Marcus Wolfhard. A lot of the Empire Lords are meta right now. This is the one Lord I would not expect to see. Volkmar the Grim. Banishment, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Soulfire Bombardment, and Grand Shield of Faith. I guess Banishment did get a buff with the slower Vortex speeds, and he does have a bound one. Then we have a Bright Wizard with Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Ruin. Okay. Sterling's Revenge, and another 3 other Free Company militias, so all hybrid. In case a zombie gets summoned on them, they can fight back, I guess. Great Swords, Halberdiers, and Spears. A massive box of state troops, including more Spears and Halberdiers. The Bright Wizard, like I mentioned, and then 2 War Wagons nestled all in there. It is a very, very boxy box. You have a problem? Well, shit. That seems more like a YouTube thing than if it's sporadic. On the other side, Dire Pack, Chillgeists, Hex Wraiths. I've seen what these two are for. I actually cast a replay of this matchup between Alfredino and Razel on the channel last month. He uses these in combination because the Chillgeists have 2 auras. They have a minus 30% speed aura, and then anyone they hit gets minus 30% more speed. So if you can run up to Pistoliers or Outriders or Grenade Launchers or even War Wagons, you can slow them to such a degree that the Dire Pack can catch up and eat them alive. Manfred von Karstein, Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, then the Summon and the Heal. You have some Fellbats, double White King, one of which has Scabscrath. Both have Scabscrath, which is technically a rule break, but haha, they needed to bring it up before now, so it's not my problem. And then a front line of 4 Cairn Wraiths, 5 Zombies, and the Konigstein Stalkers, Skeleton Warriors with Poison. War Wagons firing away at the Chillgeists. I think the only nerf they took last patch was that wagon models now appropriately take damage when surrounded by cavalry, but their damage is just as strong as you remember it being. Did they get another ammunition nerf, or was that it? Don't know. But I know they still do a shit ton of damage. Right now, they don't have a lot of great targets, to be honest. All the infantry are bad targets for them. Manfred would be a good target. The Chillgeists are okay. But their armor-piercing missiles are wasted. Nothing on this roster that was brought is armored of any kind. Double Scab Scrath hit the Sterling's Revenge, doing a ton of damage. Those guys do prevail, and they will shoot at the White Kings. They've lost very few models, so their effective DPS is pretty much untouched. Flaming Sword of Ruin, trying to buff up this entire side of the box, and the first zombie summon is out. Chillgeists and the Dire Pack are charging in, but Free Company Militia shooting at Manfred. Now, since they are a hybrid unit, it's not like their DPS is going to be that of regular handgunners, but it's still plenty good. And I'm actually very surprised that Manfred landed at all, because he's taking insane damage right now. Another Fate of Yuna out. With White King charging in, he does disrupt the Sterling's Revenge, routing them off, and then the Fate of Yuna will hopefully take care of another one. And the Cairn Wraiths are being held in reserve for the late game. It looks like they're trying to force the Empire to use some of their crowd clearing on just zombies. And it is working, though. The Manfred von Karstein dive-in is not working at all. This does appear to be a horrible mistake, and he's now trying to get out of here, while War Wagons chase him down with alarming speed. Holy crap, they're going so fast. But now that you're outside the box, do you really want to do that? It looks like no, as they will get back into the sky. Counts are down to the balance of power. But as they rout off some stuff, they should be able to chase it down, but the dogs and Chillgeists are charging into halberdiers. That has to be a bit of a mistake. And the Sterling's Revenge will be allowed to rally in the distance and continue firing. Manfred's trying to stay in combat as much as possible, both to utilize his effectiveness as a dragon, a big, scary combatant, but he does also have the Sword of Unholy Power and the Hunger. So if he's in melee, he's healing and getting more Winds of Magic for Alfredino throughout the course of the game. He does have to leverage that advantage. What he also has to leverage is he needs to get the Chillgeist and the Dire Pack to rout off these fucks. And now it looks like they're coming out here to do that. Holes in the box are forming. Two Free Company Militia, mostly bogged down in melee, not able to get too many shots off elsewhere. But the War Wagons are not nearly as impeded, still poking down Manfred by quite a lot. Double White King in the middle of it all, fighting. They do both have Scab Scrath. Could clear out more infantry, but there's just not a lot of infantry clearing left here for this Vampire Counts build. I think they were mostly relying on getting kited. They didn't seem to expect the full-on box. Otherwise, you'd probably see some Grave Guard, maybe some Vargeists, maybe a Mortis Engine. The Mortis Engines versus the Empire is always a terrible prospect. The Empire's just so good at shooting it instead of blobbing around it. Imagine having an AoE spell right now. You mean like Soul Stealer? Man, I wish the Vampire Counts had Soul Stealer. That sounds fun. He said, joking and lying. Wind of Death or Purple Stun instead of Buta? Yeah, Purple Sun would have been good. That spell's weird, but it does deal with lowly armor and blobs quite well. Someone said on one of my YouTube videos, but I actually couldn't agree more, I wish the Vampire Counts had Vangeist's Revenge, but reskin. Vangeist's Revenge is a niche spell, but in its niche, it's really, really good. And it's like, it's very hard to argue Vangeist's Revenge is unfair because it's so expensive and so fucking easy to dodge. But if the Vampire Counts had that, like, you know, Wind of Death, but if Wind of Death didn't suck, it would just be so nice because you could take it just in case. Because where the fuck are these guys gonna dodge to? They're just so blobbed up that it's like, I mean, chuck the Wind of Death or Vangeist's Revenge in here and do so much damage, but Wind of Death itself has been nerfed into the ground, so it's completely fucking useless. Anyway, the Counts have some healthy Cairn Wraiths who are sweeping up the last remains of Free Company Militia, but with Halberdiers and Greatswords killing off both of these White Kings, Manfred's also very, very low. There is no shot that Cairn Wraiths and the Hex Wraiths carry this whole game. I think it is Jover. Wind of Death used to be that in Warhammer 2? Yeah. But in current year, man, it's so fucking bad. Wind of Death got nerfed. How did it get nerfed into the ground? It took a bunch of nerfs. I don't remember what they are over the various months, but yeah, Wind of Death is not what it used to be. So, looks like Tudella's Empire box is going to win it. I honestly just don't see any way Alfredino can win. I'm going to play it at ×2 speed unless something alarming happens. But the War Wagons still have plenty of ammunition. Volkmar's full health, the Bright Wizard's full health, and even a nasty Burning Head down the line. There's so many state troops to support these things, and the Counts just don't have any damage left. Their White King's almost dead. And Cairn Wraiths are Cairn Wraiths. Yeah. He expected to get kited, he just didn't. Lorebeard's talking about Lord Skrulk. I'm a part of Lord Master of Sotek's server, and I don't know. I never know when his fucking streams are going. I feel like that guy never pings. Volkmar did fine. War Wagons both did excellently. Halberdiers did amazing. Free Company Militia didn't pay for themselves, but they were annoying. They were around. For Alfredino, Manfred tried his best. He just wasn't enough. The White Kings got really good value with those Scab Scraths, but that's about it. Cairn Wraiths, zombies, just died. It's now Winds of Discomfort. I like that. I like that. Hopping over to the Photoshop real quick, just do the cross off. And that is 1 down for France. Can Spain get 2 more wins over the next 4 games? Let's see, with the green one versus Razel. I just played the green one yesterday. He slapped me around a little bit. It hurt. I don't like it. Hummingbird. Anything that starts with HU, I'll just kind of assume you're talking about me. Alright, Razel on the Skaven versus green one's Kislev. This used to be a good matchup before Things in the Woods and the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts and Akshan Amishers and Mother Ostankia came out. Pretty much every fucking unit Kislev got is really good against Skaven, so... Alright. Razel, show me how it's done. Every Sunday he streams Lorebeards? Okay, well then he's not streaming at the same time as me right now, so you could watch the VOD later. And you could watch the VOD later of this, but then I wouldn't be talking to you.
We warned you, the daughters and I. We told you what was coming.
Okay. Mama Ostankia is going to give me a speech about how I suck at everything, and she's amazing apparently, instead of letting me cast the goddamn game. But... on the side of the green one, we have 4 Horse Archers, a Little Grom, Mama Ostankia with Flock of Doom as her only spell. A whole bunch of things in the woods that are very good in this matchup, one of which is the Mordheim Beowulfs. 4 Kosovo Dervish Regulars? Nope, just 3. They're good suicide cav against Skaven. You can throw them at a Warp Lightning Cannon or globes or something that are low and get them to break, and if you take enough damage, who cares? You have your Bar Blood Pass to get you through. Incarnate Elemental Beast for the late game cleanup. You usually want to keep him safe till all the shooting is dead, that he can kill the rest of the Skaven army in melee, and a Patriarch to heal up that big bad boy. For the Skaven of Razel, do have Ikit Zap Zap, already down 2 models from Little Grom, currently getting bodied in that artillery duel. We have the Avalanche Mortars, 2 Poison Globes, Ixcha's Triads, the Eshin Triad Regiment of Renown, 2 Warp Grinders for nets, the Gracier of Plague with both of his summons, some Skaven Slave Slingers, and then a front line of Skaven Slave Spears, backed up by Clan Rat Spears. And 2 Radicals. 3. Pitfires of Hell's Deep sitting right in the middle. Dueling with Little Grom, the Warp Lightning Cannon has taken about 700 HP off of Little Grom, and Little Grom has killed 3 out of 4 cannons, so, it's a close duel. It's close. Anybody could win at this point. Hey, let her speak. Alright, Skaven are forced to move forward. As their Warp Lightning Cannon, they're abandoning it, but there's no reason to defend 1 Warp Lightning Cannon model. Little Grom can finish it if he wants to, or the Skirmish Cav can run up and quickly route it off the map. It's just not worth defending. The Skaven need to move up and stop this punishment. Looks like Little Grom is retooling onto the Avalanche Mortars, which will allow the Warp Lightning Cannon to get a few extra shots off. Again, not that it matters. Just lame and you don't like boxes? Yeah. A lot of people don't like boxes. I don't like extreme boxes. This Skaven box is a little tighter than I would like, but you can see it getting punished. That's another thing about like boxes is they do punish extreme playstyles, but they themselves are an extreme playstyle that can also get bodied. Like not winning the artillery fight, and then immediately this box's plan falls apart. But you do see a lot of boxes and blobs versus vampire counts, because vampire counts are just such a limited playstyle for some reason, that they really need a DLC to give them some better options to deal with boxes or blobs that isn't just make their own box or blob stronger. But that's been a problem for vampire counts since, like, game 1. Anyway, Poison Globe's taking a lot of damage from various poking ins of Momostankia's missiles plus Flocks of Dooms. The Avalanche Mortar's down to half HP. And Rat Ogre's now getting a fight that they finally wanted with the Horse Archers. A couple Globes going to fly out, but they do more damage with the Rat Ogres than the Horse Archers beyond. And then an Extreme Throw almost hits, but doesn't really do any damage. Another big Flock of Doom, but the Skaven are swiftly getting torn apart by the kite build of Kislev, and when they get annoyed and have to chase after you for your range damage or whatever, then that's when the things in the woods or the cavalry come in and swoop aside, killing off more Skaven Slave Spears going to rout them, and when stuff routes outside the box, it obviously will have a pretty hard time getting back to it when your opponent has so much mobility control here. Skaven losing a Warp Grinder already. Another Skaven Slave Spear is routing, and now the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep are stuck soloing the Incarnate Elemental of Beasts, and its Mortis Engine plus its anti-large stats are going to take care of them. Mother Ostankia, if you watched the tier list video and you were like, hey, human boy, you dumb piece of shit, you put Skaven in C tier. Skaven aren't in C tier. Why would you say that? Oh, I don't know, because healing giant monsters are a bit of a problem. Oh, yeah, and chariots are better this patch. Oh, chariots are better. Well, does that matter? Yes. Mama Ostankia is just rolling through. The only thing that can stop her are Rat Ogres, and they're not even that good at stopping her. They can sometimes get kind of a surround, but not an amazing one. So chariot characters and chariots in general are really good at piercing Skaven lines and just causing disruption. They don't do mass damage, but ranged units do not like stuff futzing with them. Like these globes. They're having a very hard time firing. Is that because of chariots? No, it's because of suicide dervishes. But still, Mama O just running through here is a huge pain for the Skaven forces. Incarnate Elemental Beasts with the Mordheim Beowulfs and the Patriarch finish off what they were doing. Get rid of a globe as well. And the Skaven are well and truly fucked. They are in such disarray. They have one carry potential left on their roster. It is this Poisonwind Globe, and it looks like Mama O sees it, but instead of going for it, the Rat Ogres are going to charge her, so she's going to try and path her way out of here. It looks like it'll be up to the others to take care of it. But I mean, even the globe isn't the best dealing with the Incarnate Elemental Beast, but once that is dead, the Incarnate can legitimately kill this entire Skaven army alone. Nothing here can kill it. The Ixchus Triads are too low, plus the Incarnate can deal with them pretty well. Skaven Slaves and Clan Rat Spears don't have the courage to sit around and poke that thing. They're going to be just fine. Warp Grinders did net Mama Ostankia for a little bit, but then Cavalry countercharges got rid of those, and Archers are punishing the Rat Ogres. Army losses is getting close, and poor Razel, repping my favorite faction, is currently getting torn apart. Patriarch trying to heal up the Incarnate Elemental Beasts, though he's draining a whole bunch of stuff. I think this Clan Rat's a summon, though, so he doesn't seem to mind too much. Still a ton of cavalry. Oh, yeah, and Little Grom is now shooting at the Gracier. What's your value, my friend? You have to have been just... Yeah, look at that! 2,400 value on Little Grom. You love to see it, though. You do love to see it. I love to see, like, not... Have a good day. Not usual Kislev units, like, oh, boy, it's 4 Akshin Ambushers and 4 Things of the Woods and Mama Ostankia and a Bear Blob carrying the game again. It's like, we saw Raced in one of my tournaments recently. Raced won the whole thing with Kislev versus the Wild Platies Lizardmen. Little Grom did great there. Little Grom did really well here. I like to see it. I also like to see the Kossovite Dervishes and the Kossovite Archers being used for more than just a one-shot suicide attempt. I think I saw maybe one Dervish get suicided this game, but otherwise they were just used as light cavalry instead of... And I'm not trying to be negative towards Kislev. I'm just saying, like, usually when I see the Kossovite Dervishes, you brought the Dervishes for one thing, to suicide and use the Buyer Blood passive to, like, unbreakable cheese out a quick kill on, like, the ROR Hellstorm Rocket Battery or a Grand Cannon of Cathay or something like that. It's neat to actually see these units like, oh, it can do more than that one gimmicky thing. That's cool. Or like Horse Archers can actually be used. That's cool. So, I liked it. It was a good build from the green one. He just really executed well at the top level of play. You can see this sometimes where it's like, Razel had a well-constructed box, and the green one just played appropriately to deal with it. He didn't panic when he loaded up the game. He apparently knew his unit limitations. That Little Grom would win versus the Warp Lightning Cannon. And then when he saw that, he just took it nice and slow, forced the Skaven to move forward. And then he took a little poke at him with the Incarnate Elemental Beasts, and he's like, what are you going to do about it? And when Rat Ogres tried to respond, Things in the Woods came. Then the Things in the Woods charge plus the terror of the Incarnate Elemental Beasts got rid of all the spear support. And then the Rat Ogres were just alone and got killed. So he just really slowly, really carefully took apart the box, didn't overcharge with anything, played really patiently, and it was like, it's a good play. That's how you take apart a box. Rest in peace, my little Skaven. Now, all 5 games are going to be played, no matter what. But it's looking a little spooky for France. My favorite team to win the whole tournament. I'm feeling a little suspicious right now, but hope is not lost. Handens is an incredible player. Zyphos is an incredible player. And Pantalinade is a fucking Chad who taught me how to play dwarves. Between watching him and Cal Harmon is how I learned how to play dwarves, not in a tight little box, but like rows upon rows of infantry with beards tucked in belts and courage. So I have faith. I haven't given up the ghost just yet. But it's looking spooky. Skaven need more DLCs? No, they just need the meta to change. They need the healing meta to go away. A lot of Skaven units are fine. It's just like Skaven as a roster. I'm looking for this one. Yep, JMG versus Handens. This is the correct game. Skaven as a roster have weaknesses to chariots, good light cavalry, because they can destroy heavy cav. It's light cav they're worried about. Good light cavalry and healing single entity monsters. And 2 of those things are super meta right now. So the Skaven, they're just natural weaknesses are meta, so of course they're not going to perform very well. And I don't think they should. If someone brings your direct counters, they should win. I don't want Skaven units buffed beyond all belief that, they could just... Oh, the Dread Saurian ran into, 1 unit of Ixchus Triads and they fucking died instantly. Okay, Skaven are just going to dominate the meta. That'll be real fun for everybody involved. Anyway, what do we got? What are we doing? So, it is the Empire again, but this time on Team France, and again with the surprises. Hanadan's bringing a Celestial Wizard. Okay. Now, Boris Todbringer does allow you to bring someone besides the Lore of Life. If you take Karl Franz, you are stuck with the Lore of Life. You need it for him to get his value out. And if you're bringing Gelt, then obviously you're stuck with the Lore of Metal, because why else did you bring fucking Gelt? But taking Tada, you usually see a Deathcaster or a Firecaster, not a Celestial Wizard, which is quite strange. And versus Bretonnia, too. Maybe versus, Dwarves or Chaos Dwarves, maybe you want Thunderbolt to clear out Ironsworn in the late game, but Handens is cooking something. So do have a Celestial Wizard, Boris Todbringer, Swordsman and Spearman, and then some Kite, it looks like. On this flank, double Outriders with their handguns, the armor-piercing, non-explosive version. 2 Empire Knights, 2 more Empire Knights on the other flank, and 2 more Outriders. So it is just Outrider Kite. On a relatively small map, too. Pillar Bone is not a big open space. Bold. But I do like it, actually. The success I've had with Bretonnia recently is mass-ranged armor-piercing fire, because Bretonnia these days is usually Hippogriff Knights and Grail Knights spam. So you know there's not going to be a lot of Knights swarming you. There's just a few extremely tough Knights, and if you can just focus fire them down, then you win the game. On the other side, we do have 1 sneaky Mounted Yeoman behind Bretonnia. Oh, there's also sneaky Pistoliers behind... Wait. Mounted Yeoman behind the Empire, but sneaky Pistoliers behind Bretonnia. Okay, everybody's getting flanked. Cool. The Celestial Wizard's passive is great versus flying. It's minus speed, minus a melee defense. Minus 20 melee defense, minus 25% speed if he's casting. I guess that is pretty good. On the other side, we have 2 Grail Knights, a Royal Hippogriff Knight, 2 Archers, and then a front line of Peasant Mobs and Battle Pilgrims with Fey Double Paladin. I haven't seen Fey Double Paladin much recently, and then in this Nations event, I've seen it twice in a row, which is weird. Because it was also in Italy versus the EU Mercenaries. Fey Double Paladin. The Paladins are on foot. The Fey is on her horseback with Earthblood and Regrowth. Can Kite do it? Kite is weak, they said. Blobs are strong. Healing is strong. Well, if my tournament favorite is going to survive this quarterfinal matchup, then Handed's going to have to prove the meta wrong. Kite versus healing. Let's go. I'm also curious what Harmonic Convergence is for, because if most of his DPS is going to come out of Outriders, then why does he have Harmonic Convergence? I guess it's okay on Empire Knights, but they just don't have the raw armor piercing to matter. You can have good melee attack and melee defense, but that won't, like, do any more damage to these Grail Knights, right? So I don't know. Battle Pilgrim front line's also really scary. That'll beat the Empire Swordsman for sure. Outriders get a half of a volley onto the Royal Hippogriff Knights before the Empire Knights get landed on, and they're facing the wrong way. They actually get rear charged, so even worse for them. And a quick lightning bolt tries to hit the Grail Knights, but the Grail Knights press in too much. They don't really take any damage, and Outriders fall back to the hill to start firing in. Boris has also dove down. He's going to have to be careful. He does have his self-regeneration, but that takes time, and getting insta-murdered by Hippogriff Knights is not time. More Grail Knights chasing down Empire Knights, and the Mounted Yeomen are staying hidden as the Outriders continue trying to get damage out. The Pistoliers are here. They will shut down both Peasant Archers, but I'm sure Hanadins was hoping for more Archers to be able to get with this little flank tactic rather than, oh boy, 2. Outriders continue to poke down the Royal Hippogriff Knights, who already got an Earthblood, so they have a little bit more damage on them than indicated. And the Grail Knights have torn through an Empire Knight. A second one is joining the fight as Outriders fall back to get some better shooting. How are the Empire Knights on this flank? One's half HP. Ooh, and the other one's taking a lot of damage. Celestial Wizard is okay. Pistoliers starting to fall back now. Terror out will take these ones to safety, even if they didn't get orders to do so. The Outriders continuing to poke away at those Hippogriff Knights, but it's looking rough. This is a rough start for the Empire. Double Paladin trying to get involved, but foot characters are not good at catching horses because, you know, horses be fast. All 4 Outriders are in the backfield, still pretty healthy, tons of ammunition, but them being clumped up in the same space with a Grail Knight already in the backfield does worry me quite a bit. Mounted Yeoman taking a ton of damage from an Empire Knight. A resounding who cares goes through the audience. And Harmonic Convergence is out for Boris, giving him 7164 melee stats and lowering the melee stats of the Hippogriff Knights, but they immediately land. They don't really want anything to do with this, and a regrowth is going to heal them up just fine. Pistoliers will finish chasing off those Peasant Bowmen as the Outriders try and find somewhere to hide. Grail Knights still pushing through this front line. My concern remains. Hippogriff's still getting poked out. Where is their heal cap? It's got to be coming in soon. Because they have taken a good amount of damage from these Outriders. Not a ton, but some. And now the Outriders are getting clumped up onto Grail Knights. Grail Knights taking some decent damage here. Is there Harmonic Convergence down or something? No, not really? Okay. They do have a debuff from being near Boris, but it's just the Blood Roar leadership thing. And one of the Paladins is already pushed off. Other Grail Knights come up here, and this could be a disaster for the Empire as they try and squeak some Outriders out through the forest. Celestial Wizard's coming over to maybe offer some sort of lightning bolt or something to do. That, however, it looks like a Comet of Castadora from the Heavens Wizard. It is not, is the Fey Enchantress's bound Chalice of Potions. The Hippogriff Knights are over here, and all of the Empire's carry potential is in extreme fucking danger. The last of the Empire Knights are trying to hold on. Empire Spearmen are dealing with Royal Hippogriff Knights who are back at full HP. It's like they haven't been shot all game long. Grail Knights still taking a bit of damage. Celestial Wizard staying safe. One of the Grail Knights is down to 1/3 HP, and the Fey Enchantress has chucked out a ton of healing, so maybe her mana is running out. I mean, she's probably still got 6 or 7 regrowths in her because nothing matters anymore, but, maybe. Let me dream. Let me hope. Hippogriff still chasing out Outriders. Outriders are not faster unless the Celestial Wizard is throwing out spells. However, it looks like these Grail Knights are still pretty distracted in the woods. Boris is so scared to land on the Fey Enchantress and get any damage out because of the Grail Knights nearby. Like, if he gets trapped in them, he will literally just die instantaneously. But he sees a fresh, juicy Paladin off on his own. He is going to get a diving attack onto that guy. Paladins really don't have the best stats when they're isolated. Their benefit is that they're cheap. But, I mean, just look at him. He's already fucking routing. He routed on the charge. Empire State troops slowly dying away to the Battle Pilgrims of Bretonnius. The Bretonnian front line is winning. Their heavy cav is winning. The Empire is still trying to make their guns measure up to the faith and steel part of their promise. One Paladin is strangely not rallying yet. You okay, bud? There you go. He had to get real far away from the battle before he felt like coming back. Outriders getting a bit of open field is good for them. They really didn't like being up in that wooded corner. And Pistoliers are also still trying to kite this out a bit. I don't know where the Royal Hippogriff's healing cap is. I see one Grail Knight's heal cap on the edges of its vision, and that Grail Knight's still 3/4 HP, so he's doing fine. He's chilling. So we have 2 Pistoliers and 3 Outriders left. I'm missing the other Outrider. There he is. All the way over there, full health, almost full ammo. But he got chased off by something. Big terror out, takes 3 units, Spearman and a Pistolier and an Outrider. What is Boris gonna do? What's the Celestial Wizard gonna do? They're just kind of around. They can't do anything. Squish maybe better animations, Sebastian? Yeah, if they have the same hitbox as anything from the Shadows of Change, Vermin Lords won't be that OP. Because the Muno Vortex Beast and the Incarnate Elemental Beast, they have really well-working hitboxes, where if they charge into spears and just stand there, they take so much damage, which is a good thing. But we'll see. Because they could also have, like, Kairos fucking models, and that's just a whole can of worms. Mounted Yeoman still chasing down these Outriders, the other Outriders not deigning to shoot at them. Boris could land and these guys would immediately rout, but that would leave him at the mercy of the Hippogriff Knights. Another Outrider's taken out by Grail Knights. And that is looking like the death of the Empire Kite. Unfortunately, the Celestial Wizard did not pan out. I'm sure Hanadin's had a reason for bringing him and whatever, but in this game, it just did not really happen. Thunderbolts didn't really hit. The Harmonic Convergences didn't have a target. Like, one was thrown onto Boris once, but he was still no match for the Hippogriff Knights, so he backed out of that fight. And that's about it. What do we have left? 1 Outrider, 2 Outriders. Boris is getting chunked out, and that is GG. So a 3-0 start for Spain. God damn. So we know they advanced to the semifinals, but I'm curious how the last 2 games go. The Grail Knights and the Hippogriff Knights all did pretty darn well. Battle Pilgrims just churned through the Empire front line. The Double Paladins, the Archers, got kind of massacred, but it didn't really matter. They had a winning front line in Heavy Cav. For Handed and Celestial Wizard, just didn't quite live up to the task. Outriders, 2 of them got good value. 2 of them really did not. Pistoliers did fine. Boris did okay. He just didn't have a home. Can you charge Scrag Cauldron with the Friendly Fire Maw? I don't know. I got no idea. Though if you did that, I mean, that's like a lot of money to throw behind just getting your Gorger's regen. Alright. We know Spain advances, but can Xiphos and Pantalinade bring some pride to France, or will it be a Spanish clean sweep? Huh. Alright, let's see. Xiphos on Kislev. So we saw the green one from Spain on Kislev. Now it is France taking their turn on Kislev. For Spain, we see our first Dark Elf of the day in Azrael of Astora. Pretty standard build. 2 Cold One Dread Knights is a bit spicy, but other than that, I believe that caster is probably going to be a dark caster on a dragon with Soul Stealer. For Xiphos, we do have a Bear Sled accompanying Mama O, a bunch more of these Cossified Dervish cavalry, and then Armored Kossars. Okay. I wonder why so much light cav. I guess it is elves. Elves aren't exactly known for their heavy armor. Oh, everybody settle in. Mother Stanky has to tell us a speech at the start of every fucking battle.
For today, I am on your side.
Shut up, you. Alright. She has silenced herself, so we can get into it. 3 Horse Archers, the Auction Ambusher, ROR, the Wolfhearts, with... Well, they don't have armor piercing anymore. They still have that Pack Trap, which is a really good net. Do have a heavy war sled, Mama O with Flock of Doom as her only spell, a whole bunch of dervishes, things in the woods, and armored Kossars. On the other side, it is a dark sorceress. She does have Soul Stealer. I'm a fucking genius. And then we have 2 Cold One Dread Knights. I think I saw 1 Cold One Knight. Nope, 2 Cold One Knights, 2 Dark Riders, the Crows of Cain, and then a front line of Bleak Swords. 2 Witch Elves in the back for some rampage. No Dark Shards whatsoever. which I'm sure Xiphos is happy about because he brought all this light cavalry, and now it has nothing to disrupt. A pack trap is chucked out onto the Supreme Sorceress of Dark, netting her in place for the Auctioneer Ambushers and the Armored Cossars to fire at pistols. Dark Riders will be able to peel for her a bit, and Cold Wind Dread Knights are running up, but we'll see how much they really like fighting against Armored Cossars. In general, Heavy Cav does not like fighting melee infantry in most scenarios. Pack Trap's still going, though Soul Stealer already being cast to heal up the Sorcerers of Dark. It did take a nerf, it doesn't heal as much as it used to. 20% nerf, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, it's a good pick. You'll get good damage on her. And you know you're pretty much going to have to heal cap her regardless. The 3 Horse Archers plus a Flock of Doom really whittling down these Witch Elves, and a rear charge from the Bear Sleds could do a lot of damage. Chariots in general feel like they're doing more damage this patch, but Bear Sleds were always kind of menacing. Yeah, that's pretty darn good value. Bleak Swords and the Dark Riders might rout. They don't have the Murderous Prowess popped yet, so they don't have that extra leadership, and if they rout, they will cause the Bleak Swords to rout, probably by chain reaction. And firing their handguns at point-blank range also does a lot of damage to the Cold Wind Riders. It is just a frontline engagement across the board. Now, with how much ranged Kislev had, I'm sure they wanted a little bit more of a drawn-out game, but Cold Wind Dread Knights eat the Wolfhearts alive. And that is a big loss. I mean, they're an expensive unit, and they had 2 more casts of their net left. I'm sure the Dark Elves wanted to use. There's Murderous Prowess trying to keep the Dark Elves in the fight. Already on this flank, things are falling apart a little bit. Witch Elves barely clinging to their guns, and they are rampaging. Ooh. Rampaging the heavy war sleds is huge. If the Dark Elves could get any armor piercing in this area, they could really punish the war sleds while they are rampaging. Because if you can't do that, then they can run rampant over your whole army. Another Soul Stealer hits a pocket, trying to heal up the Supreme Sorcerers of Dark. But Kislev's just fine right now. They're vibing. The Dark Elves have taken so much damage. Though I suppose without a Patriarch and without Gulias, it's not like the late game benefits them at all. They don't have a ton of healing or anything. Some of these skirmishers will probably have to fall back soon. They've been in melee for a bit too long with these Dark Elves. And the Armored Kossar front line is falling apart slowly. Slowly. But it is slowly falling apart. Another Flock of Doom from Mama O, just constantly harassing these guys, pushing them down. Cold Wind Dread Knights fighting in the backfield, still trying to deal with the Wolfhearts, still trying to get through Kossovite Dervishes and things in the woods, but there are just so many Kislevites back there pushing them down. Dark Elves coming back for a second attempt at this, and Kislev, I gotta know how many Buyer Bloods are even left, because their leadership's getting real low, but doesn't matter. Yes, it does over here. We have 2 breaks. Things in the woods don't have Buyer Bloods, so they might break soon as well. Looks like the Supreme Sorcerer of Dark is trying to take this game into our own hands. Dives onto Mama O, but does miss her on the charge, and instead just routes off some Armored Kossars and gets several charge attacks down the line, terror routing off the things in the woods. And this could be a turning point against Kislev. Ostankia is a big part of that balance of power. If you actually look around, Kislev is looking quite threadbare. Their heavy war sleds have taken a ton of damage. They still have 4 out of 4 models. If they can fall back, they'll be at full effectiveness. It's not looking likely, as the Witch Elves might trigger the second rampage as they fall below like 10% HP. And then if they rampage here, which they just do, we have Cold Wind Knights, we have a giant Dragon Caster that can finish them off. So that is a really, really big pick for the Dark Elves. Bounce power is still Kislev favored for now. In the backfield, Cold Wind Dread Knights ripping through Kossovite Horse Archers. Where's the other Dread Knight? Is it already dead? I wouldn't be surprised. There's been a lot of damage going on both sides. Another Soul Stealer trying to heal up the giant Dragon Caster. Almost all of the Armored Kossars have broken at one point or another, so we know they don't have our Buyer Blood passive to stay in the fight anymore. Bounce power's creeping back towards the middle. Can Ostankia kill the Dragon Lord like her army has failed to do this whole fucking game? Pistols rip in. Her healing cap's not within sight, but it is just around the corner. I think one more little tick of damage and then it'll show up, because she's healed a ton throughout this game. Another Flock of Doom onto the Cold Wind Knights and her. So for Xiphos, we still do have 3 Light Cav who are pretty healthy. Have a lot of arrows, not the arrows do that much damage, but the Light Cav could sweep up these Bleak Swords pretty easily on the charge. That'll go just fine for them. Mama O is very hard to pin down outside of her rampage. Cold Knights are running out of steam too, so I think Xiphos might be in an okay spot. It is all... Wow, Captain Obvious coming in, but it's whether or not he can kill that Dragon Lord, whose heal cap has now approached. I don't know if the 3 Kossovite Dervishes have it in them, but the rest of the Dark Elf army is not enough to deal with these 3 Horse Archers and Mama O, so they'll be fine there. Game 4, Spain is 3-0 at the moment. Yes, Dark Elves are the Spanish player for this one, so if you're rooting for the French to leave the field with some honor, you are rooting for Kislev. If you want the Spanish sweep, then you're on the Dark Elf team. Kislev reclaiming a bit of balance of power. Nice attempt at a breath attack, but unless someone is really stuck in melee, they can usually dodge most of breath attack on the move. Horse archers could easily take care of these two Coldwind Dread Knights, and they kind of do accidentally. Looks like some fire was aimed at the Dark Elf Sorceress and then just hit the Coldwind Dread Knights by accident. Flock of Doom taking them down. One of them is about to rout. Barely clinging to leadership at 35 HP, down to 27. Still in the fight, but Xiphos is kiting it out pretty well. He gets a shatter out of those guys. And now all three Horse Archers are still whittling down this Supreme Sorcerer's Dark, even while she heals up from a Soul Stealer. The Soul Stealer ticks for her health, do tick up the balance of power bar in her favor, though that hasn't mattered for most of the game. She gets another charge attack onto Mama O, and this one hits, and the follow-up charge hits too, which could be pretty critical. She still has her Dire Blood, so it's not like she's going to tear her out off the map or anything, but it's not looking great for her. She needs to get some of those backwards firing arrows into the Supreme Sorcerer's Dark to get good value out. Another Flock of Doom on the Bleak Swords. Since it really doesn't do anything to single entities, might as well get that damage on those guys. While you focus most of your skirmish cav on shooting up at the Dark Elf Sorceress while you can. Nice dodge on the breath attack, suddenly switching directions, going underneath her so that the breath attack can't follow. That was quite nice. For the Kislev Horse Archers, we have 2 volleys left on this one that is directly under the Supreme Sorceress of Dark to get extra damage out. Mother of Stanky is getting good shots on his Bleak Swords. And the Dragon Lord is landing, which does take the threat off of Ostankia. She's not worried about that Dragon Lord, swooping down on her anymore. Crows of Cain are also rejoining the fight where they can get their regeneration in melee. But the Bleak Swords are routing. That Coldwind Dread Knight will shatter if they rout one more time, I think. I think I've seen them rout 2 different times. Kislev has no other forces on the map than we know about right now, as Mama O decides to friendly fire some of her Kossovite dervishes in a confused haze. Oh, you poor old lady. There goes the Coldwind Dread Knight. They are doomed for sure. There they go. They shatter. Big Soul Stealer in from the Dark Elf Sorceress, trying to stay in this game. It hits 2 of the Kossovite Horse Archers, not this third one, who are trying to fire their last volley. The Crows of Cain also shatter. It is officially 1 Dark Elf Lady versus the world, unless these Bleak Swords are allowed to rally. For Kislev, they're getting so close to breaking her. She is on a dragon. She's not actually a melee combatant. She does not have very good melee stats. Her leadership is not incredible. So being surrounded in light cavalry is still threatening to her. As Mama Ostankia kills a bunch of Horse Archers again, just because she hates them, I guess. Is there a reason to take Beasts or Heavens over Life for Bretonia? Not that I can see, no. Not really. Life is just way too strong. Mother Ostankia is doing so much damage to her own guys! So much! Oh, those dragon charge animations have been taking the Dark Elves to safety over and over again as she continues to just get her own horsemen. That one finally hits, that one finally routs her, and the Bleak Swords I mentioned before have rallied, but it's not going to be enough as Kislev will prevail over the Dark Elves and get France on the board. I believe. Because she's not getting up in the sky, and without her, yeah, they lose. That was a scrapper. Well played to Ezreal and Xiphos. Xiphos came out on top. Got a little spooky there. Mama O, 3,200 value. Her War Sled's 900. Armored Kossar front line, mixed but overall pretty good. Things in the Woods, mixed but overall pretty good. Kislev Horse Archers, yet again, getting a ton of value. And the other Kossovite dervishes did fine. Azrael, Dark Elf Sorceress did well. Witch Elves did okay. Bleak Swords did alright. Coldwind Dreads did alright. Coldwind Knights did actually pretty well for once. Dark Riders struggled a bit. Will we get a 3-2 series in our final game as Skaven again? C-tier faction. But everyone's taking them. Said as if I wasn't the one who said they're C-tier, but I did say they're C-tier. They suck. Alright. Can Pantalanad finish it out? Oh, let's fucking go! He's on his dwarves! Yeah, dwarves! Oh shit, it's dwarves versus Skaven! But yeah, dwarves! Like I said, dude, I love watching Pantalanade and Cal Harmon on dwarves, so when I get to see Pantalanade for the first time in years, I'm excited to see him on the faction I learned from watching him. Versus the Skaven, though, not great. It's not a great time to be a dwarf. This is one of the most tilted matchups in the entire game. This is the last game of the stream. We know Spain is going to the semifinals, but we'll be with a 3-2 or a 4-1, and can Pantelinade win the cursed matchup in favor of the dwarves. Now for the Skaven here, let's break down the build. We have 2 rattling guns, mostly to deal with gyrocopters. Gyrocopters rely mostly on their crazy speed to stay agile in the sky, and you do get suppressed minus 30% speed if the rattling guns even tickle you. You have the avalanche mortars and 2 Giselles to clear out the Dowie front line or their flame cannons. 2 globes to help deal with the Dowie front line, and then triple Death Runner, which are just great versus dwarves in general, and then some Skaven slaves front line. Because, I mean, what's the point of taking clan rats? In general, Skaven theory is you take Skaven slaves because they're cheap, you take clan rats because they hold longer. But that's always thinking about you being attacked. Versus the dwarves, you're the aggressor for like the first time. So clan rats and Skaven slaves, it doesn't matter. They're just bodies. Neither of them is going to get through a front line any quicker. If you want to rush, you need Death Runners or Plague Monks, which we see Death Runners here, but just in case you're like, are clan rats better here? No, they hold longer, but who cares? You're trying to get in there. We also have a Claw on his Doomflare with Warp Lightning and Howling Warp Gale to keep those gyrocopters in place. For the dwarves, you have 2 gyrocopters on their Brimstone guns, 2 flame cannons, a Goblobber, the Grudge Thrower with the Discouraged buff, front line of Dwarf Warriors, Miners with Blasting Charges in the back, and then Slayers in the farther back. Okay. That can be pretty spooky. The flame cannons, after their buffs a couple patches ago, really do a number on Skaven. They can even do a decent bit onto Warplock Giselles. Warplock Giselles 1-to-1 will still beat flame cannons. Like, if you click on them and they click on you, you'll still win. But it's more damage than you're used to taking, especially with Gyrocopter or regular cannon support. Could be pretty bad. Oh, and is that a double debuff stack I didn't even think about? Hold on. The flame cannons give you a burnt leadership debuff. The Goblobba gives you a discouraged leadership debuff, and then you have a debuff from getting hit by artillery. That's a lot of leadership debuffs. That's actually awesome. That's really cool tech. I've seen one or the other, but I never actually thought about both of them together. Because another thing you need to think about is attacked by artillery is its own debuff. These Warplock Giselles, you can see damage by artillery is minus 10. So it's minus 26 from just the Goblobba, and then imagine a Flame Cannon's burnt debuff coming in on it too. That's going to be really bad. Rattling guns trying to hit the gyrocopters. They won't do much damage, which is why I generally prefer to just get 4 Giselles instead of 2 rattlings, 2 Giselles. I think the Giselles are just more accurate and the suppressed isn't worth it, but I know why some people take rattling guns. Giselles are teaming up on the flame cannons, and like I said, they will beat the flame cannons 1-to-1. So this isn't that surprising, but the Giselles are taking some damage. We'll see if the gyrocopters can really get involved at all. The avalanche mortars are making their presence known onto these poor dwarf warriors. Miners blasting charges might want to hold their charges until you see the Death Runners, which you can see these guys are immediately running over to deal with these Death Runners. They don't want to waste their blasting charges on Skaven slaves. 1 flame cannon is already disabled, but on the other side, the Skaven have lost a Giselle, and Natty Booba sharpshooters are moving up into range where they could start taking counterfire, and they are. But the flame cannons missed because dwarves are too short to see me. See me coming. Does Anvil of Doom reduce leadership too? No. And also he has Belagar. He doesn't even have Thoric. Thoric Anvil! I think that's partially because of the Thoric nerfs, but also partially because even when it was global melee attack for dwarves versus Skaven is not going to matter. Melee attack is not a factor in this matchup at all. Both sides need to kill each other from range. Blasting charges actually just walk up to the Natty with sharpshooters and completely wreck them instead of the Death Runners, which they might come to regret. But, I mean, you take what you can take, you get what you can get. Off-screen, a gyrocopter did get caught. It looks like it netted it, and then the Teeth Breakers just finished it off. 1 Giselle is trying to come back to the fore. The dwarves still have a flame cannon with not a lot of HP, but 3 out of 4 models. And the Goblobba is still alive, but where is it going? Blasting charges kill off a whole Death Runner over there, and the dwarves are kind of back in this game. Starting to chase down some Globadiers, just being annoying, but oh. The Avalanche Mortars have something to say about that, immediately getting rid of these guys. How's the Death Runner count doing? Where is that okay. It wasn't rendering for a bit there. I just saw rattling gun bullets appearing out of thin air. Still have a gyrocopter. If it can stay alive for a little bit longer in the late game, it'll be very, very useful. And Ekron's Miner's not able to get rid of their deadly volley. Instead, just getting run down by Death Runners. Slayers will have to run up and take this fight. Slayers can body Death Runners. The armor piercing you're paying for with Death Runners is wasted, and Slayer's high stats usually just keep them safe. So the Ekron's Miners need to fall back for now. Skaven taking the lead on the balance of power. Not surprising. Where is this flame cannon going? It's getting a little close to the danger. It is rocking up. Natty Boob sharpshooters are back. Teeth breakers are still fine. Other rattling guns are also still fine. They're chilling. They've been here before. They know what's up. Giselles will kill off those flame cannons. Only 2 models left, but their HP is so low that I think that we'll just get finished off here. Dwarves having a tough time. For the Death Runners, one is full HP, the other's half HP, and the third one is either dead or so close to it he's not going to matter. Yeah, he's right there. He's not doing great. And Globes still very healthy, which is a threat to the Slayers. The Slayers can mop up a lot of the late game if the Globes are dead. But Globe's still alive. They'll take a decent chunk in. This Goblob has been around. I haven't seen this thing firing for a lot, but I guess it's losing a lot of ammunition, so it must have done stuff. Death Runners are coming for blood, and there's no outrunning that, even if you dismount or whatever sneaky tricks you dwarves are going to do. You're not escaping this. Death Runners will pretty much insta-kill the crew. They do abandon their mounts to try and get to safety. It will not matter. It's rattling gunfire. Hits a Howling Warp Gale down gyrocopter. Globes are going to hit 2 Slayers at the same time. And it's all but over for the brave dwarves, as the Dragonback Slayers are also the focus of the Avalanche Mortars. And that's about it. Army losses is coming close. That won't matter for the Slayers, but I'm pretty sure the players will just FF if it gets to the point where it's just Slayers running against an entire army if they can't win. Dragonback Slayers are taking a very favorable trade into the Death Runners, but it won't be enough to salvage this game, as Belagar is also getting surrounded by the remnants of a Death Runner. Army losses hits, and it is a very, very tough matchup for the Dwarves. I liked the spirit of his build, but it was not enough to overcome Clan Scryer. Honestly, it's just Clan Scryer. Giselles are terrible for the Dwarves, Globes are terrible for the Dwarves, Avalanche Mortars are terrible for the Dwarves. The only thing that any other clan has to contribute is Eshin with those Death Runners. That's all you need. I like Plague Monks in this matchup. They're not necessary, but I like them. Rat Ogres can do okay. Wolf Rats can do okay, but the stuff you really need is just Clan Scryer tech. Avalanche Mortars did great. Natty Boobos did fantastically. The other Warp Block Giselle got shut down pretty quick. Teethbreakers did good. The other Rattling Gun did not. Death Runners, mixed. Not great value, but you need them just in case. For Pantalanad, his Dwarf Warriors and Belagar struggled to get very much done. Blasting Charges, mixed value, not amazing overall. Flame Cannons, not great value. And Slayers were just there in the late game. They didn't really get to fight anything. GG. So that is that. Okay. Let's go to the Photoshop real quick for a summary. It is probably, to the players playing, would say it's not an upset, but to my pre-tournament predictions, it is an upset. A 4-1 for the Spanish team, and they will move on to fight Italy in the semifinals, which I will pull up here. Boop. Let's do 1 through 34. 1. So Spain moves up to fight Italy. That bracket has already been made. The players are already working on it. We will stream that next week, because that obviously hasn't been played yet, but here you go if you care. So Tudela versus Ronan. Green One versus Guillama. JMG versus Twilight Harbinger. Azrael versus Maydave. And Urian versus Leopard. Or if you are around tonight and you are hoping for some more action, tonight's stream does have South America versus West NA, Strat Game versus Turin, Coops versus Anti-Kaiju, Cool Umbrella versus Ruben, Gojira versus Federico Chavez, and John FB versus Boina Roja. So, good stream coming up later tonight if you are around, or you can catch the VOD. Tomorrow, we have East NA versus UK at the same time that this stream started. And we'll get that top bracket all figured out. Get the semifinals cooking. Which, again, the top semifinal actually exists and the teams are playing each other. But we haven't seen how those games went down. Alright? This was the 3v3 Matrix, right? So they somehow picked the Dwarves versus Skaven matchup? That's true, Null. I actually don't know how that worked out. Hummus changed the background of Tomb Kings? Never. Never. No. I don't know how it keeps getting ended up on Elves. The Wood Elves one comes up quite a lot. But I try to keep it on this one. I think the King and the Warlord's super cool. Because I love Skarsnik. He's my favorite greenskin character. Like, in lore. In game, it's Wurzag, because I love his dancing and his voice lines. But Blood for the Blood God's also pretty good. I generally don't like... Well, okay. Don't like is a strong word. In a vacuum, yeah, the Warhammer 3 backgrounds are cool. I mean, that's like a cool image, right? But comparatively, I don't really like any of the Warhammer 3 ones compared to their foes. Rakarth is sick. Twist and Twilight's sick. Warden the Paunch is pretty good, but not amazing. Shadow and the Blade's pretty good, but not amazing. Hunter and the Beast's fine. Prophet and the Warlock sucks. Vampire Coast sucks. Like, the background, right? It's kind of wasted. They aren't even using the Tattered Sea Shanty. So, like, what? The Tattered Sail. Why? Why? You made a banger song, and then in the background music's just kind of like... Okay. But why, though? And also, there's no Vampire Coast units here. It's just all a sunken boat. And again, it's like, in a vacuum, it's fine, but comparatively, nah. Nah. So that's also pretty weak sauce. Queen of the Crones sucks. Tomb Kings is okay. I mean, it's got a floating fucking pyramid. That's kind of badass, but I love the Vortex. I love the Vortex. I think it's so cool. The animations on it are really, really good. But, and the Bretonnia one's actually super badass. So I think my top three are honestly all from Warhammer 1. The Bretonnia background, the King and the Warlord background, and Blood for the Blood God. Love all three of them. Peak. A fourth, I'd probably have to go with the Vortex, but yeah, Tomb Kings ain't on there. Tomb King sucks. Don't at me. Actually, do at me. See what happens. I don't even know what that means. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Twitter. You can't hurt me. You got nothing! I tend to stick with the Warhammer 2 ones, just flip between them. They're all pretty good. It was a little change, but I'm glad CA finally let you have like all the backgrounds, because it's just like free customization. It's nice. Can we all agree that this one sucks? I think it's due to the drama, but I have such a negative, visceral reaction whenever I see this one that I'm always like, ugh. Actually, okay. Total Warhammer 1 is objectively the worst. There's nothing here. Chorfs is pretty metal? I think it is. Let me go look at it again. That's a pretty good one. Grievin, that's a good one. You win. I did skip past that. Attack the competitive Discord. No. Never. Does anybody ever play the Mirrors of Madness? Was this a thing? Was this worthwhile? I don't know. We need to do another multiplayer campaign, except this time Tic-Tac-Toe kills all the fucking Tomb Kings. Made me sad. You played one match. It's fine. Wait, is the autosave the siege? The autosave is the siege. There's something I wanted to watch about the siege, and I feel like the stream is too short to end because it was only 1 hour. So we're going to find the thing I wanted to find in the siege, and then I'll let you all go. Oi! You might be like, what siege? What are you talking about? Just wait for the moment. We're just looking for a moment, not the whole siege. But this was the finale to our 2v2 campaign But don't worry about it. There's something I wanted to check on, but you all might as well see it as well, because it was lit. Try the Skag friendly fire with the ball. Dude, even if that works, that is not a worthwhile use of your Winds of Magic. Like, it is never a worthwhile use of your Winds of Magic to kill your own units to charge up a passive for Gorgers to get some regeneration. Like, you're using your Winds of Magic, you're using your money, and you're using your unit slots, all to get regeneration for Gorgers, which is just... Come on. Come on. It's not a good use of your resources. Alright, I'm ×3 speeding, because nothing matters. But if you care about the backstory while we wait for this to even get to the part I wanted to get to, the Empire and the Lizardmen were doing a desperate last stand at the Empire's capital to hold these 3 bridges against the oncoming onslaught of Rapunts and Herbertonians, and then the Tomb Kings. And the Tomb Kings had 3 armies on this location. But I need to wait for a specific moment. Dun, 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 dun. It's the Skaven way. Like, that's so much Winds of Magic, though. To kill your own Noblars. Dun, 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 dun. Tomb Kings filtering in, but now my lizard men are here. And Puncher Man with a puncher plan is ready to hold a bridge. Alongside Kikawaka. And then Glombus and Flombus, the 2 Bastiladons of legend. I love them. The replay is loving being fast-forwarded through 1.5 million units. It's a big fan of that. My spooky, scary pterodons are going around the side, being all spooky and scary. Try it in a vacuum? Maybe. We'll see how long it takes to get to the point I wanted to get to here. Yeah, the Maw's main problem is that it spreads out the damage so evenly that it doesn't kill any models. And that's annoying. I think most of the Warhammer 3 intensity-based stuff, though, that all has a problem of being way too long to charge up. Because it's just, like, Scarbrand stuff, any of the spell-based stuff, it takes so long to charge up the intensity that usually the game is decided one way or the other by that point. And it's just a tough go. Hi, Hazel. Tomb King's still filtering in as they approach. My Pterodons, I realize that most of the stuff out here is melee, so I can maybe try and get some free pokes in. What I didn't notice at the time, but I did notice as soon as it started happening, is that the enemy has taken our towers from us. So the towers are shooting backwards into my Pterodons. It's good in large campaign battles. Like, the Maw is fine for that. I meant specifically for charging Scrag's ability. Unless you're also talking about the intensity in large campaign battles, in which I would still argue that it takes too long for Scarbrand to charge up his intensity with kills. What am I watching? We did the Spain versus France thing. I just wanted to check on one moment and see if it's worth making a video out of. And you are free to also experience that. There's a moment that something very silly happens. And we're trying to get to it. It is getting close. That's what I'll say. It is getting close. When are the other ones being cast? They're all up on my channel. The countdowns are on my channel. You can just go to live streams. The West NA one versus South America is tonight. And then East NA versus UK is tomorrow. So, yeah, you can just see the countdowns. Alright. There's some blobbage happening. And I see that. So my Pterodons are about to do a suicide run to rock drop all of these guys. Now, the weird part is that a lot of their banners were in the city, but most of their units aren't. So I thought I saw something weird where, like, unit cards across the city took a major nosedive in damage when I rock drop here. So I just wanted to see what happened with all the things here. So, look at these juicy Tomb Kings ready to just get rock dropped by the best. And we are hitting the wall right now. The wall is mildly protecting them. They're taking some damage, and I just want to watch the unit cards in here. Yeah, like, these archers are getting fucked up, because most of their models are actually back here. Oh, and it hurts. Oh, and that's what I saw. A lot of the unit cards teleport in here because everybody that was back here died, so the flag holder is the one that's way in the city. Yeah, because I remember doing the rock drops, I was like, holy fuck, there's a lot more people in the city than I thought there were, but it's because the flags moved in. But, yeah, we committed some war crimes there. Thousands of value on some of my pterodons from that. That's pretty funny. 329 on this bad boy. After that, the siege does not go very well for us, unfortunately. But the pterodons tried. We inevitably failed. But very well. Due to the volume of requests, I will say this is never, ever, ever a good use of your Winds of Magic. But if you insist upon knowing if killing your own units charges the Cauldron of the Great Maw, sure. It killed no full units. Yeah, I mean, damage is damage. We were happy to have any damage whatsoever in that siege, but we got run down. We learned, and I know some of you super veteran campaign players will be like, "Well, no shit, idiot." But Rapunzel makes her peasants kind of crazy. Blood Penguin's whole army had like 30-ish% ward save. All of their peasants had frenzy and then physical resist and then jacked stats besides that. So, it was kind of nuts. There were Savage Orc peasant biggins just running us the fuck down, and that was alarming and scary. I'm gonna wait for an overcast. Wee, wee, wee. Oh. My feelings got hurt. Alright, Gorgers, go deal with Franz for a bit. Okay, stop him, though. Bonk. Alright, Scrag doesn't think he got any value. And he killed all of the Noblars. Because, like, this one only has 19 models, so he's killed most of the models. And the Gorgers don't even have the Cauldron of the Great Maw on their unit card, so it's literally 0 intensity. No, you don't get any charge from killing your own units. You do not. Hazel! Oh, okay, good. I thought she was looking at her injury, which she's not supposed to do, but she's just chewing on a toy. Okay, that's it. Welcome back to the stream tonight for Western A versus South America. Congratulations to Spain for the advancement to the semifinals. And go Italy. Kill those fools. I'm on Team Italy now because the green one beat me yesterday, and I'll never get over it. I'll never forgive him. See if it kills Dark Elves, Dread Spears, or Bleak Swords. I mean... Oh, you're just hoping to see if it kills models. Okay, I can see that. I know it didn't kill very many High Elves. We'll see if it kills Dark Elves. Who dared hurt Hazel? Herself. She did herself a damage. Their HP may be low enough. Again, I am suspect due to how it performed versus High Elves, but we'll see. Meep. Though maybe the person in that replay undercast it. Maybe if you overcast it, it gets some good damage. What happened? You know how when dogs see other dogs, they do that play bow thing? And you know how when they see other dogs they don't like, they do that play bow, but aggressive? She saw another dog she didn't like, so she did the aggressive version of a play bow on concrete while, like, running forward. So she just, like, skidded up to this other dog. And, I only got 31 kills. 71 models out of the unit are still alive, and it started out injured. And we have 16% intensity on the Great Maw. That's just like... It's so fucking hard to get kills. Here, even run them down. Just run them down. But yeah, so she scraped her paws along the concrete and just fucked them up pretty bad. Waddle, Scrag, waddle! He's charging up. But I guess my main point about this is, like, let's say in theory he casts 2 the Maws in the course of a game. And let's assume that he has 4 Gorgers. He has 4 Gorgers who have somehow gotten through the whole game without doing anything. They were waiting for him to charge up. And he gets off 2 the Maws and he charges up to 100%, right? Let's live in that world. You now have almost no winds of magic. You've used it all. You have 0.2% per second healing on some Gorgers, and you have 20% more damage on Gorgers. That's all you got for, like, all your effort. And it's like, again, this is in the hypothetical scenario of all your winds of magic went towards this, your Lord choice went towards this, and your Gorgers aren't in combat yet. Because in most games, by the time you even get to this 33% intensity I'm showing, your Gorgers are probably, like, half dead. And Gorger's got some buffs. They're an okay unit now, but the Cauldron of the Great Maw just sucks. Because it takes so long to get up to even the end result. Like, look at these fucking Gorgers. I wasn't even paying attention to them. But even just fighting one random with no skills on foot, they've lost 2 models and 2,000 HP. While we have the Great Maw charged up somewhat. It's so fucking bad. And Gorgers are okay if you need, like, an unbreakable mass unit with stock. After the buffs, I honestly think they're alright. But, like, the Cauldron of the Great Maw specifically just, like, fucking blows. It is a wet blanket of an item, and I hate it. Want to try the Bone Crusher? What the fuck is Bone Crusher? Oh, with Bone Crusher? Bone Crusher is okay to get some kills. My main point is, like, this isn't a great lore to get kills, and then getting the kills isn't worth it for the Cauldron of the Great Maw. Versus a hard blob? That's fair, but you could, like, get Lore of Beasts and get Flock of Doomspan plus some debuffs. You could get the Great Maw and just get Healing or Brain Gobbler. Or if you're really that insistent on killing blobs, you could get a Fire Belly and get Burning Head or Piercing Bolts or something. And that's why, like, a lot of people want a Fire Belly Lord. Like a Fire Belly Slaughtermaster or something. Because your melee options aren't very good. You don't really want Greasus or the Tyrant, but you sometimes want the Fire Magic. Because Lore of the Great Maw is alright. It's alright, but it mostly just relies on Troll Guts healing, and then Lore of Beasts is pretty meh. It's an okay lore, but not really for the ogres. They don't need it. Yeah. I think it just takes too long to charge up. I think that really is the beginning, middle, and end of the conversation about the Cauldron of the Great Maw. Either it needs to have way better scaling, so then like some people say this about Scarbrand, it's a legitimate argument. It's not an argument I believe, but it holds up. I just don't think it's worth it. But the argument about Scarbrand's ability that people say, Slaughter and Carnage, is Scarbrand already has 400 fucking no. Pull up him. There we go. He already has 600 weapon strength. And it charges up to 100% more damage for every type. So it's like, the argument that I'm being a devil's advocate, but this isn't something I believe in, is like, oh, well, Scarbrand's ability is actually good, because even if you get it to 20% charge, that's 1/5 of the way up. You're still getting 20% more damage on Scarbrand, and that's a meaningful amount. That's 120 more damage per swing that he does. Now, I would argue that if Scarbrand had more splash damage, that would be worth it because he could charge it up faster, and then charging it up faster would make him charge it up even faster because he'd do more damage. But he has a lot of single target damage, which doesn't work because if he's fighting what he should be fighting, he's not charging Slaughter and Carnage because he's not getting kills. And if he's fighting random chaff, he's getting kills for Slaughter and Carnage, but he's doing it really slowly at a high price point. But anyway, the main point is the scaling on this ability is so high that even 30% is worth your time. Whereas on Scrags, it's only worth it at 100%, and that it takes so fucking long to charge it. So while the game doesn't need any more healing added to it, if you just took Scrag's item as it is, it would probably have to be multiplied by 5. His healing would have to go to 1% at its maximum, right? 1% healing per second, 100% base damage, and 100% armor piercing damage to be worth taking, because then again, in a multiplayer sense, you're only effectively ever going to get this thing to 30% before a game is decided one way or the other. Effectively. Maybe in a one-off scenario in a silly quick battle where someone took a tiny blob and you blew it up, great. But that's not like going to happen all the time. And then in campaign, in a bigger battle, you can get it charged up. But then who cares about OP shit in campaign? Campaign is all about having fun with OP shit, so I don't give a fuck. Yeah, let the ogre player have some ogres, some gorgers that heal and have 100% more damage. I don't give a shit. That's fine. I don't know. And if you're worried about multiplayer campaign, it's not like ogres are particularly good in multiplayer campaign. They're really bad if you're thinking about them competitively because they take too long to scale up with their camps and all their stuff. Like they're a fun single player campaign, and then who cares if they're OP? Bellow of Endless Fury? No, it doesn't kill very many things. Scarbrand has the lowest damage breath attack in the game. Behind maybe Terrorgeists. Maybe Terrorgeists. But, yeah. I think it actually got nerfed recently. But it has very low armor piercing ratios, so it's not good against anything besides Chaff. And then even Chaff, it just doesn't have the raw damage to kill them. 8256 for... 8256, 8256, 8256. Where's the Hydra's breath attack? 8656, but I think he has multiple heads, so I think he does multiple streams. And then a dragon has 109.51. So, yeah, it's Scarbrand's breath attack just is lower on the numbers. Battle of Endless Fury. Also, this might be stupid, but I wish you could use breath attacks while in melee. Because, like, if he has, like, a peasant mob at his feet, why can't he Bellow of Endless Fury a Grail Knight that's charging at him? Why does he care? Why does he give a single fuck? But, how much is anti-large of the Stonehorn Harpoon? Did they patch super fast grease date? Yeah. They did. The Stonehorn Harpoon launcher, this thing? Its missile has no bonus versus large whatsoever. The weapon strength is anti-infantry. If you're thinking of the Hunter on his Stonehorn mount has a missile strength bonus versus large of 100. That's pretty cool. Do you use an adjustable standing desk? I do. Okay. This stream has to end at some point. Goodbye, everybody. I'll be back on later tonight to stream West NA versus South America. Goodbye.